Fragments of Us. Characters. Lottie Cole, a passionate young woman caught between her love for her best friend and the pain of unrequited feelings. Mia Bennett, a vibrant and caring girl about to marry the man of her dreams, unaware of the depths of Lottie's love. Mary Bennett, Mia's supportive mother, who senses the unresolved tension between her daughter and Lottie. Nick Turner, Mia's fiancé, whose arrival is awaited with mixed feelings by both women. All I could see was a flash of revealing sequins, and my heart raced. I stood frozen, a spectator to my own heartbreak, as I watched Mia twirl in her sparkling wedding dress, her laughter ringing like music to my ears. The dress was stunning, cascading perfectly over her figure, while Nick, dressed sharply in his midnight black suit, stood by her side, offering rehearsed smiles and token affection. A part of me wanted to glare at the disguise he called happiness, but I swallowed it all down, forcing myself to breathe for her sake. She deserved joy, even if it absolutely destroyed me. Sitting on the edge of a patch of grass just beyond the garden, I clutched my phone tightly, hearing Mia's laughter float through the air like a siren's calling. There was a time when I believed I could have shared a different kind of laughter with her. I longed to tell her how deeply I loved her, how I had wished for her love more than anything else in the world. A call vibrated in my pocket, snapping me from my reverie. The contact name illuminated my screen like a beacon of both hope and dread, Mia. "Hey," I answered, attempting to infuse my voice with cheerfulness. "Can you come over soon? I need you." I felt my heart stumble as she spoke those words, her excitement evident even through the phone. "Yeah, of course. I'll be there in a bit," my voice wavered, betraying my emotions. "You're the best." Her tone was infectious, yet it cut deep as I responded with a forced smile, "Friends." As I drove through our familiar neighborhood, each landmark brought with it a rush of memories. The little cafe where we had stolen kisses over cups of steaming coffee, the park where we had whispered dreams, the very slide where our friendship had first blossomed. Pulling up to Mia's childhood home, I felt a chill in the air as a shadow danced around my heart. Mia's mother, Mary, greeted me with a warm yet knowing embrace. "Lottie, I can see the storm inside you," she whispered, her voice as gentle as autumn leaves spiraling to the ground. "If you need to escape, just let me know." With an unsteady breath, I forced a smile, though tears threatened to betray my resolve. With hesitant steps, we made our way to Mia's room, the blush-pink sanctuary filled with remnants of childhood dreams. I knocked hesitantly on the door, and it swung open to a sight that tore my heart. Mia's makeup was a mess, mascara smudged by tears. "Lottie," she said, her voice betraying her bravado. I pulled her down onto her bed, a space laden with history and heartache. Minutes passed as I wrapped her in an embrace, my fingers running through her hair in soothing strokes. "What's wrong?" I murmured softly. "You shouldn't be crying on your wedding day." Mia's sobs shook her petite frame, and when she finally managed to speak, my heart dropped. "Nick called. The wedding is off," she blurted, and for a heartbeat, I felt a rush of hope. But it faded fast when she added, "But that's not why I'm crying." A rush of confusion surged within me. "Then what?" Mia met my gaze, and for a moment, hope flickered in her eyes, replaced by hesitation. "I never loved him like I love you, Lottie. It's always been you." A sweet, surreal moment hung in the air until we drifted closer, and in that breathless instant, I kissed her, softly, fully. Her lips felt like poetry against my own, tender yet urgent. But in a heartbeat, she recoiled, her expression shifting, twisting into something I hadn't anticipated, horror. "Never come back," she spat, every word piercing through me like shards of glass. I felt the heat rise to my cheeks as she pushed me out of her house. I stumbled backward, shocked by her venomous tone. "To think I could ever love you back is disgusting. You will burn in hell for this." Echoed through my mind, a brutal refrain that haunted me. I fled to my car, darkness swirling around my thoughts. Driving home was a blur of streetlights and muffled emotions. Memories of laughter and dreams taunted me, and I parked outside my apartment, feeling numb as I stared blankly at the steering wheel. A day passed into a week, and fragments of our memories haunted me. I booked a flight back to New York, determined to mend what had broken. I sent flowers, and letters, and countless apologies into the void, praying for her forgiveness. But each gesture was met with silence, and I clutched my phone tight, desperately waiting for a message that never came. 2 years later. I stood at the airport's departure lounge, heart racing. 50 letters. 9 emails. Hundreds of flowers. This was my last chance, a desperate plea for redemption. I knew what Mia said, she vowed never to see me again, but the fear of living without her companionship clawed at my insides. I needed her to understand that I never wanted to harm her. I arrived at her doorstep again, my heart thundering. With a deep breath, I knocked. When Mia opened the door, fury flared in her eyes. "You!" She gasped, anger radiating off her as if it could singe me. The softness of her gaze was replaced by the shadows of betrayal. "I had to see you. The years without you. It's unbearable," I pleaded, the words tumbling out. Mia's face hardened, and the edge in her voice cut like ice. "I told you to leave. You have no right to come back." The words almost smothered me, yet I pressed on. "Please. Just hear me out. I never meant to make you feel like you had to hate me. I love you." A flicker of pain clouded her expression before it vanished, replaced by defiance. "You need to go," her voice broke slightly, belying her tough exterior. "Don't ever come back," she whispered, the threat hanging between us. With that, I turned, my heart shattering all over again. Each step away felt heavier, a weight I had never anticipated. I climbed into my car, tears streaming down my cheeks. I knew I might never hear from her again, my pleas lost in the ocean of regret. In that moment, I released my grasp on what could have been, knowing deep down that love can be anonymous agony, a chain that bound us but would forever keep us apart. The engine of my car roared to life, but I sat parked in the driveway, tears soaking my cheeks. Everything around me was a blurred reminder of the life I had envisioned with Mia, a life that felt like a cruel joke now. I slammed my hands against the steering wheel, frustration boiling inside me. With one last glance at her house, I pulled out onto the road, feeling the weight of despair trailing behind me like a shadow. The days turned into weeks, then months, and I surrendered myself to a routine driven by distraction. I poured every ounce of energy into work, throwing myself into projects that barely held my interest but kept my mind busy. I stumbled through life, the ghost of Mia haunting my dreams and waking moments alike, tearing at the edges of my heart. One evening, as I sat on my apartment balcony staring at the city lights, my phone buzzed beside me. My heart thundered as I glanced at the screen. It was an unknown number, but something deep inside urged me to answer. "Hello?" I answered cautiously, my voice filled with uncertainty. "Lottie?" A familiar voice, trembling yet resonant, sent a shiver down my spine. "Mia?" I almost dropped my phone in shock. The simple sound of her name quickly entangled me in a mix of hope and dread. "Yeah," she said softly. I'm sorry for everything. Can we talk?" A whirlwind of emotions surged through me, but I managed to draw a steady breath. "Of course. Where? Can we meet at our cafe? The one by the park?" she asked. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. "I'll be there." The cafe radiated warmth, its cozy ambience a remedy against the chill that had festered in my heart. I arrived early, needing time to gather myself. The familiar smell of roasted coffee beans wrapped around me like an embrace, but it couldn't mask the anticipation and anxiety swirling within. When Mia arrived, she was shrouded in a dark coat, her face drawn and serious. I felt my heart race as she approached, her eyes scanning the room before locking onto mine. Time seemed to slow as she sat across from me, the distance between us heavier than I remembered. "Hey," she began, voice barely above a whisper. "Hey," I echoed, feeling the weight of our unspoken words hang in the air. "I've thought about us a lot," Mia confessed, her fingers fidgeting with a napkin. "About everything I said the last time we met." My heart raced. "And?" I urged gently, desperate for clarity. "Lottie, I was scared. Scared of my feelings and scared of losing you as a friend. I didn't know how to react when you kissed me." The vulnerability in her voice struck me deep. "The truth is, I never stopped loving you." I felt my breath catch. "But..." "No, let me finish," Mia said, her eyes fierce yet glistening with unshed tears. "I thought pushing you away would make it easier to move on with Nick. But it only made everything harder. Losing you. It was like losing a part of myself." At that moment, everything I had feared and desired was laid bare. "I thought you hated me," I admitted, tears brimming in my eyes. "When you pushed me out of the house. I thought I'd lost you forever." Mia reached across the table, her fingers brushing against mine, igniting a spark I had missed for so long. "I was wrong. I was confused. I never meant to hurt you. I thought I had ruined everything," I murmured, my voice thick with emotion. "I had planned to spend my life loving you from a distance." Mia shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Let's not keep living in those shadows. Can we start fresh? I want to figure us out, together. No more running. No more pretending." I felt a wave of relief wash over me, and as if a shield had fallen, I leaned closer. "I want that too. More than anything." Again, the world melted away. My heart surged as we sat there, two souls tangled in a web of longing and love. The cafe was alive with chatter and laughter, yet nothing could break our bubble, the bridge we were rebuilding. "Mia," I began quietly, "if we do this, we'll have to face the truth that we were always meant to be more than friends. I love you." She smiled through her tears, that same radiant smile that had first captured my heart. "I love you too, Lottie. More fully than I ever realized." Weeks passed since that pivotal night at the cafe. We took it slow, but it was like rediscovering a piece of ourselves that had been lost. Dates were filled with laughter, whispered secrets, and shared dreams as we explored the city hand in hand. Each day, I felt a renewed sense of hope unfurl within me. One evening, under the soft glow of string lights strung across the rooftop where we shared our first official date, Mia turned to me, her face illuminated by the stars. "I want to introduce you to everyone. My family, my friends, I want them to know the real us." A rush of warmth spread through my chest. "You mean it?" She nodded, her eyes alight with determination. "I want to be open about us. To the world." With each new step we took together, I felt the shreds of my past pain dissolve in the embrace of a future bursting with love. Soon after that night, we faced the world side by side, defiant and flourishing, like flowers breaking through the cracks of concrete. And just like that, we turned the fragments of our painful history into the foundation of a beautiful new beginning, united, ready to face whatever lay ahead, together. As autumn settled over the city, the air crisp and brimming with the scent of fallen leaves, I found myself standing at the threshold of Mia's family home. My heart raced, a fusion of excitement and nerves pulsating through me. Today would be the first time I truly stepped into her world as more than just her best friend. I was here as her partner. Mia took my hand, her fingers lacing through mine as we walked up the familiar path. "I promise they'll love you, Lottie. Just be yourself," she encouraged, her eyes shining with warmth and pride. "Easier said than done," I replied with a nervous chuckle, trying to rein in my anxiety. The close-knit Bennett family had always seemed like an impenetrable fortress, where laughter and love mingled effortlessly. I hadn't been with Mia all those years ago when she needed to lean on me for support. Now I was back, ready to forge a new connection. But could they accept the evolved relationship? Mia knocked on the door, and moments later, her mother, Mary, opened it wide, her face lighting up with recognition. "Mia. You made it," she exclaimed, pulling Mia into a tight embrace before her gaze shifted to me. "And Lottie, dear. It's so wonderful to see you again." Hi, Mrs. Bennet, I replied, my heart fluttering. Just call me Mary. Come inside, I've made your favorite. She gestured us in, paying no mind to the flutter of my nerves as we stepped into the warmth of their home. As we entered, the vibrant hum of family life greeted us. The aroma of roasted chicken filled the air, mingling with the chatter of Mia's siblings and the cheerful clatter of dishes in the kitchen. I spotted Mia's younger brother, Ethan, teasing her while their older sister, Ava, rolled her eyes dramatically. Suddenly, the whirlwind of apprehension began to dissipate. Hey, everyone! Guess who's here? Mia announced, her voice soaring above the bustling sounds. Ethan turned, eyes widening. Is it my favorite person? Lottie. He raced over, enveloping me in a bear hug that squeezed out any lingering tension. I can't believe you're back. Are you here to stay? I guess that depends, I replied, glancing at Mia who was grinning proudly. Mia stepped forward, her arm wrapping around my waist. Lottie is here because she's my girlfriend now, she declared, her words reverberating with conviction. The room fell silent for an instant, the words hanging in the air like a spell. I felt my cheeks flush as eyes turned to me. Then, like a wave breaking, laughter erupted. Oh, finally. Ava spoke up. We knew you two were meant to be. It's about time you acknowledged it. Mary clapped her hands over her heart, her eyes glimmering with happy tears. Oh, Lottie, I'm so glad. You've always been a part of our family. Relief swelled in my chest as the tension melted away. They accepted us. Just like that, I felt the love of Mia's family wrap around me, strengthening the bond we had joyfully stepped into. As the dinner unfolded, warm conversations flowed like honey, stories of Mia's childhood mixed with laughter and friendly jabs. I shared tales of my time in New York, feeling the ease settling in our conversations. It was comfortable, familial, and in those moments, I felt the past finally begin to unfurl, paving the way for what lay ahead. But as the night waned, I couldn't help but sense an unspoken question from Mary. She caught my gaze and leaned closer. Lottie, how do you really feel about my daughter? She asked, her voice low and earnest. I inhaled deeply, meeting Mary's probing gaze. I love her, Mary. I've loved her for longer than I can remember. She's the light in my life, and I don't want to be apart from her again. Mary reached across the table, squeezing my hand. You have my blessings, Lottie. Just remember that love can be a beautiful journey, full of ups and downs. It's the commitment to each other that will carry you through. I nodded, tears stinging at the corners of my eyes. Thank you, Mary. I promise to cherish her. As the evening wrapped up, Mia and I found ourselves alone on the balcony, the stars twinkling overhead like scattered diamonds. I leaned against the wooden railing, feeling a gentle breeze brush over my skin. Can you believe that went so well? I asked, glancing at her. I was terrified. Mia giggled softly, twirling a lock of hair around her finger. And yet here you are, my beautiful girlfriend, winning the heart of my family. You never gave them a chance to think otherwise. I couldn't help but smile. It feels incredible to be accepted. I thought it would be awkward, but your family really is amazing. Oh, how I had missed these moments, the laughter, the familiarity, the undeniable spark we shared. A calm settled between us, and I knew this night was merely the first step in rewriting our story. Mia took a deep breath, her gaze turning serious. Lottie, there's something I've been meaning to share with you. My heart skipped a beat. What is it? I want to build a life with you. I want to embrace every part of our love, and I'm ready to face whatever challenges we may have. She took a step closer, her eyes searching mine. Will you explore that life with me? Together? I felt tears of happiness prick my eyes. Yes, Mia. 100 times yes. I want nothing more than to build a future with you. With that, she pulled me in, our arms wrapping around each other as we shared a kiss under the canopy of twinkling stars, sealing our promise with tenderness and depth. As we stood there, enveloped in love, I realized that we were not just rewriting our story, we were reclaiming the narrative of our lives, together, hand in hand, ready to embrace whatever the world had in store for us, our love a steadfast beacon guiding us onward. Continue the story. Fragments of Us, continued. Days turned into weeks, and as November rolled in, the vibrant fall colors began transforming into the muted tones of winter. Mia and I settled into a beautiful routine that seemed to pulse with a rhythm uniquely ours. Weekends were filled with markets, cozy brunches, and exploring the city's art scene, while evenings often meant intimate dinners shared on her balcony overlooking twinkling city lights, punctuated by laughter and whispered dreams. One chilly evening, we prepared for our first big holiday event together, Thanksgiving dinner with her family. I felt both excited and nervous. This was an opportunity for me to officially embrace the role of partner, not just a friend or a ghost from the past. Are you ready for this? Mia asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation as we stood in her living room, filled with the scents of roasted turkey and cinnamon. I think so, I replied, adjusting the collar of my sweater. As long as I don't end up accidentally setting the table on fire. Mia laughed, leaning in to steal a kiss from my lips. Trust me, as long as you're here, we'll be just fine. My family will love you. As we arrived at her family home, the warmth welcomed us like a blanket. The dining room was a flurry of activity, her siblings cooking, her mother fluffing up decorations, and the sweet sound of holiday music wrapping around us. Lottie! Over here, shouted Ethan, bustling over with a half-baked pie in hand, his excitement infectious. You're going to help me with dessert, right? I didn't mess it up too much when it exploded in the oven. Before I could respond, Mia's mom approached, arms outstretched. Just in time, Lottie. We're so glad you're here to celebrate with us. I felt a wave of acceptance wash over me, chasing away the nerves. As the afternoon unfolded, we gathered around the dinner table, plates piled high with traditional fare. Moments of laughter filled the air as stories were shared, some humorous, some nostalgic, all woven together by a familial bond that enveloped me warmly. The evening ended with the tradition of sharing what we were thankful for. One by one, each family member spoke, and when Mia's turn came, she glanced my way, her expression softening. I'm thankful for love from my family, friends, and especially for Lottie, who has brought so much joy into my life and taught me the true meaning of being open and honest. My heart swelled as she spoke, and when it was my turn, I shared my gratitude for the safe haven Mia's family represented and how they had welcomed me into their lives as if I belonged there all along. The warmth of the moment filled me with hope, yet it also raised a question deep within. Although things felt perfect, the specter of the past lingered. Would we keep growing together, or would fears of losing one another creep back in, just as they had before? Weeks passed, and as the holiday season approached, I felt more settled in my relationship with Mia, but shadowy doubts would occasionally rear their heads at night, creeping into my dreams. The laughter we'd shared echoed in my mind, but so did the memories of our painful past. One evening, after a long day at work, I came home to find Mia curled up on the couch, the glow of holiday lights casting a warm hue around her. She looked up as I entered, her eyes sparkling. Hey! How was your day? Long, I sighed, dropping my bag on the floor and collapsing next to her. But seeing you makes everything better. A sweet smile danced on her lips as she wrapped her arms around me. I was just thinking we should start planning for the New Year's celebration. It'll be our first celebrations as a couple. I nodded, momentarily swept up in her enthusiasm. That sounds amazing. I felt a surge of joy at the thought. But then, the notion struck me, what if we made commitments and things fell apart again? I sat quietly for a beat, running through the thoughts swirling in my head. Mia sensed the shift in my energy. What is it? She asked softly, pulling back to meet my gaze. You seem distant. I hesitated, my anxiety bubbling to the surface. I guess I'm just wondering, after everything we've been through, how do we know we'll make it through the hard times? What if something changes and we fall apart again? Mia's expression turned serious, her brow furrowing slightly. She reached for my hands, squeezing them gently. Lottie, I can't promise every moment will be perfect. But what I can promise is that I love you deeply and will always choose you. We'll face the ups and downs together. Communication, honesty, and trust, that's our foundation. Her words broke through the barriers I had put up. I took a deep breath and nodded slowly. You're right. I just don't want to go through losing you again. That pain was unbearable. And you won't have to. We've both grown, and we're ready to face anything, she said softly, a note of determination in her voice. With that affirmation, I felt a new sense of clarity replacing the uncertainty. The world outside seemed brighter, and my worries began to fade just as dusk drifted away. As New Year's Eve approached, we decided to celebrate with Mia's family, who had invited friends over for a gathering at their home. I found myself excitedly anticipating the festivities, and in the days leading up to the event, we crafted paper lanterns together, filling them with hopes and dreams for the year ahead. On the night of the celebration, her home was a dazzling array of lights and laughter, the air filled with the sweet aromas of festive treats. Mia draped her arm over my shoulders as we mingled with her family and friends, a sense of belonging settling deep in my chest. As midnight approached, the excitement grew. I felt my heart beat in sync with each echoing countdown, surrounded by the people who had embraced our love with open arms. When the clock struck midnight, her family erupted into joyous cheers. Mia turned toward me, the twinkle of fireworks illuminating her smiling face, and then without a word, she leaned in, our lips meeting in a passionate kiss that seemed to signify not just the start of a new year but the blossoming of our future together. As the fireworks painted the night sky, we exchanged hopes and dreams, our whispered promises igniting a new year filled with possibility. I can't wait to see where life takes us, I murmured against her lips. Mia cupped my face, her eyes reflecting the vibrant bursts of color above us. Me too. Together, we can conquer the world. And as fireworks exploded overhead, I felt certainty wash over me. Our love was no longer a fragmented past but a vivid tapestry woven from trust and resilience. With each heartbeat, I began to let go of fears, embracing the beauty of the journey we were carving together, hand in hand, heart in heart, ready to navigate whatever lay ahead.